All right, yes, guys, welcome to the new content house. How do you guys like it? Got the car in the back. I am running one of the best Wi-Fi's possible, so no delays on the streams, as you guys already know. I've just cracked a lovely, fresh, cold C4, purple grape, obviously to match the current theme in this room. Got purple car. I even put LEDs on the top, so I've like fully moved into this house now. Purple LEDs at the top. And today we're doing a Q&A, so we're going to be answering all of you guys' questions that you've asked me on Instagram. I've come out of jail for 3 days. You're probably thinking, Milo, what the fuck's happening? What is going on with you? You've been moving crazy lately. Why have you not been trading? Well, I'm here to spill the beans and let you guys know what's actually been happening. Absolutely spectacular. Amazing.
Absolutely amazing.
Now, I've got a list of questions which you guys have asked me. You've asked me a lot of questions as expected. Now, let's get into the questions in regards to what the fuck's been going on. I don't even need to answer one of these questions. I'm actually going to speak about myself. So this is what happened. I was in Miami. I was staying in an Airbnb. My apartment that I own in Miami is getting rented out at the moment. So I decided that I'm going to stay in an Airbnb for one night. And I leave my car in a parking space. You can already kind of work out where this is going. Now, with my car being inside a parking space, which isn't mine, it ended up getting towed, right? So I come back in the morning and I'm like, where's my car? The car's gone. I'm like, shit, it's either been stolen or someone's towed it. So I go downstairs, I look at the sign on the wall, it says towing company, this is their number, that's their address. I thought, fuck the number. I'm not even gonna call them, I'm gonna go straight to their address. So I pulled up at the towing car company address, I went to the wrong part, I got this all on film, so the vlog is coming out soon, it's actually hilarious. They even got the police face of when they arrested me and everything, which I thought was quite funny. Got a little video out of it, I guess. I get to the tow car company, I'm searching them up. They're called ASAP Towing Miami, feel free to check them out. They got 1-star reviews, and the 14 reviews that they have, everyone's saying scammer, 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 scammer. Not one person has said this company is a good company. So I'm there like shit. So I make a call, I call a few people, and I get a call back saying, Milo, this is a company which actually chops cars up. Now, for those of you that know what a chop shop is, basically what they do, they get your car, they take the wheels off, they take shit out of the car and fucking sell it. Now, that in itself, I started to panic. So I walked into the shop and no one was there inside of the shop. No one was walking around. It literally looked like an empty junkyard full of shit cars. And I was like, I don't know if I can even risk this right now. I don't want to lose my car. Yeah, it might be insured. I'm pretty sure I've paid for insurance as far as I'm aware. But I don't want to be risking getting chopped up because I don't know how the US works. I don't know how I can get insurance paid out and shit and whether they're going to pay me out. So I was like, okay. So I seen the number on the wall. I call them. They don't reply. So I'm like, all right, cool. The gate's open. My car's there. I'm the one with the key. They towed my car, but I still have the key. I was sleeping with it, right? Now, I'm like, fuck this. I'm going Houston anyway. I already had my suitcases. I'm going out of Florida. I'm no longer in Florida. I thought, you know what? $300. They'll probably just call me up and say, Milo, you owe us $300. Can you pay it? No problem. Here's your 300, 400, 1,000, whatever. No problem. I'll send it over. Long story short, I get in my car and fuck off. I drive out of Florida and I asked ChatGPT this very important question after I got a very important call. So after I had this call, which was about the tow car company, have now marked my car as an unauthorized release to the police. And the police have now put a hold on my plate saying it's a stolen vehicle. So now I'm starting to shit myself. And I'm driving out of Florida and I get on the phone with my brother, ChatGPT. Now, ChatGPT is saying that as long as I'm out of the state that I get the hold on the plate, I'm all good, right? So I'm there, I'm like, yeah, I'm out of Florida, police can come behind me, I'm chilling, no one can touch me, I'm all good. Police aren't gonna know that there's a hold on my plate. I'll get the hold removed, I'll call up ASAP Towing Company, I'll pay them off, they'll remove the hold, etc. No problem, amazing stuff. Now, long story short, I drive into Baton Rouge, I go to Youngboy's old house where he actually grew up and shit, took a few flicks there, and then we get through Louisiana, or Alabama, whatever it's called. Then I get on the I-10, which is in Texas. So I'm going into Texas on the I-10. Little did I know, because my geography's shit, I didn't even know I was in Texas at that point. And I'm on the I-10. Apparently, it's one of the most drug trafficking, human trafficking roads in the world. So I only knew that afterwards, but holy shit, that's crazy. And I'm out here, my dumbass, driving a purple Rolls Royce down the I-10 with a hold on the plate. And I was like, yeah, nah, I'm outside of Florida, I'm chilling, I'm in a whole new state, switching time zones, you know. Police get behind me, and I didn't even see them. I think I was too tired, or too many Burger Kings in the system along the way. The gas station food was honestly not the best. I had about 15 Red Bulls and 20 cigarettes, so I was dying. And I see in the mirror, I'm like, what's that? Is that police? Because they put their lights on. I'm like, nah, surely they're not putting the lights on for me. Like, they gotta be joking. They're gonna have to pull someone else over who's doing an actual crime. Like, they got priorities. They don't want to be wasting their time. And then I'm like, well, they're still behind me. They got their lights on. And then they do the walkie-talkie. So they're like this. They do the proper American voice. Like, oh, pull over, pull over. I'm like, yeah, we're kind of fucked. So I look at my friend, and then I'm like, yeah, I don't know what's going on there. Something's happened. I was like, you've thrown some litter out the window. I think we threw like a Red Bull or two out the window on a 17-hour drive. Like, it's going to happen. Like, a few things going to go out the window. We don't litter, like, we're not here to destroy the place, but sometimes a Red Bull does, one or two goes out the window. So I'm like, shit, we're probably getting like pulled over, something like that, or like, what is it? So now I'm thinking, in the UK, they're like, oh yeah, pull onto the hard shoulder. So I'm like, okay, let me try find this hard shoulder. He's like, nah. He's like, go straight, go straight. I'm like, oh shit, like, I'm gonna go straight, no problem, yeah? He's like, you see that gas station? He's on his like walkie-talkie, and the police car's like proper echoing it into my car. He's like, you see that Shell gas station? I'm like, all right. And then I start going in, he says, put your hazards on. I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm a bit of a hazard, you know? So I put the hazards on and shit, yeah? So I'm going into the Shell gas station, and I park up on the side, like not where the pumps are, but on the side there's like a little bit of space, you know what I mean? So I park the car there, and I hear the walkie-talkie. He's like, roll down your window, like proper, like he's angry, like he wants to kill me, yeah? So I'm like, shit, all right, roll down the window. He's like, throw the key out. I'm like, what do you mean throw the key out? Like, what? Like, do you know how much like this key is? Like, it's probably like $2,000, some shit. I don't know how much this is, but I don't want to scratch my key. You know, it's my key. He's like, throw the key out. I'm like, fuck's sake. Like, so I really like climb out of the window, yeah? And I'm like proper trying to like throw it onto the floor without like scratching it or dropping it too much, you know what I mean? So I get it on the floor, and he's like, put your hands out the window, both your fucking hands, yeah? So I'm like this, I put my hands out the window, I like got them to the side and that, and I look left, like that. I'm like, shit, like, what's going on? And I just see a laser. Honestly, I swear to God, yeah, this is Texas. Like, they do not play games. I didn't realize that they were like this. Like, I kind of rate it. Like, I like shooting guns and everything, but not when a gun's pointed at my head. Now, there was a laser beam at my forehead. I swear, my forehead, laser beam. At mine, my friends, and my other friend. 3 laser guns. And then there's a pistol next to them as well. So if the laser gun doesn't kill me, they kill me with the pistol. And if that pistol doesn't kill me, honestly, I'm not even lying. There was 2 pistols in front of the car, 2 pistols on the center corner, like there. And then to the back left, this is the laser. So it's like it looked like you know when you play Call of Duty, and it's like the proper, like, not an AK-47, but in between a pistol and an AK. It looked like a SMG, like a, you know, that one. And it had a laser on top of it. I was like, he's got custom mags and shit. This guy's he's like camping behind the door and everything. So he's like shielded up and everything. I was like, shit, like this guy's really gonna, you know, take me out. And he's got his friend next to him with like a pistol. And then behind the car, they got 2 pistols just aiming at the back window. I'm like, what is going on? In case someone like jumps out the boot, or what do you call it, the trunk in the US, yeah? So he's like, open your door. So I'm like, shit, all right, cool. Open my door. He's like, get out. I'm like, you know, how can I get out? I got my seatbelt on, you know what I mean? I don't want to reach to take off the seatbelt. He's like, keep your hands out the window now. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yeah, cool. My hands are out the window, yeah? So I'm trying to get out the car. I'm like, mate, I can't get out. You know, I got a seatbelt on. And he's like, get out. I'm like, mate, I got a fucking seatbelt on, yeah? Can you not see that? Yeah? So I go to actually take off the seatbelt. He's like, get your hands out. And then I'm like, and then he finally hears me that I've got a seatbelt. I'm like, all right, cool. He's like, take off the seatbelt. So I take it off. He's like proper like lasering my eyes and shit, yeah? Like everyone's like looking at me. And then I take the seatbelt off and I hop out, and he tells me to walk up. He's like, walk up to me with your hands on your face, yeah? So I'm walking up to him like this, yeah? Like walking up to him like this. And then they just take both my hands and they like fucking, I swear, he almost broke my arm. I'm dead serious. Like, he almost broke my arm. He got my arm, was like that, yeah? Like proper pop my bones out of my shoulders and that, yeah? So my arms are behind my back, just gets me, just goes, throws me in the back of the car. So I'm sat there, and I was gonna go gas station, go toilet real quick. Didn't even let me speak to anyone or see anything for like 20 minutes. And trust me, you should have seen the look on these police's face. It was so funny, honestly. Hilarious footage. We actually got them on camera. Thought it was quite funny as well. I actually replayed this footage back. I'll try to actually get it in this video.
Can I take my belt off? I want to take my belt off. I've got a belt.
Passenger in the back left of the vehicle with your left hand, open the car door. Step out of the vehicle with both hands up.
Rolls Royce. Yeah, well, I bet your car gets you there just as fast as theirs does. These guys are like YouTubers.
They said they're from the UK.
They're from the UK.
For you guys as well. But long story short, they start getting these suitcases. Because obviously, as you know, we're driving from Miami to Houston. We're planning on staying in Houston for 2 months, going to the UK for a little bit, and then coming back to Houston because I'm buying houses in Texas. They basically get to the back of the car, they see these silver suitcases, because we have a lot of silver suitcases and black suitcases, whatever. My shit's in there, long story short. They rip these suitcases out, like they look like dogs trying to find a bone, you know? And when my dog gets his hands on a bone, he's like, proper gassed, you know? So this is what these police like. They get the suitcase, like, fucking hell, like they're gonna get loads of like cocaine or they're gonna get drugs. They think they just busted like the biggest criminal bosses in the world. And I'm feeling kind of gassed because I see this guy, yeah? He cracks open my suitcase and the look on his face is like that, yeah? Like, gee, I swear to God, he opened the suitcase, a monitor, and I think a Versace robe and a few t-shirts and some like Air Jordans and LV trainers, Amiris, just start falling out of the suitcase, and he's just looking for drugs. He gets the monitor box, yeah, he's like, yes, I got him. Opens the monitor box, it's just a monitor, some protein powder, and some other shit in there as well. And he just starts cracking all these cases open. There's like literally monitors all over the Shell station, and clothes, and he's just throwing them out like this, yeah, like, and he's like, he's barely trying to find everything, yeah, and he finds absolutely nothing, and somehow he tells me, yeah, he comes back to the car, he's like, you know what, Milo, I've got some good news and I got some bad news. So I'm like, all right, give me the fucking good news first. And he gives me the good news. He's like, we've not found any narcotics, we've not found any guns, nothing bad. However, we have some bad news. I was like, well, yeah, you wouldn't find any, you know, drugs in my car or any guns. That's not stuff that we do. You know, we're fully legal citizens. You know, we're here to make a serious amount of money legally. I trade NASDAQ futures. I gave him a breakdown of the business that I run, etc. Now, he gave me the bad side of the story, is that I'm going to jail. And I was like, why am I going to jail? He says, because of the time, etc., the DA apparently can't look into the case or some shit. And it's too late for the DA to check if I was the owner of the vehicle, so I had to do a night in jail. So I was like, okay, I'm going to the jail for the night. Why? What is the reason? And he said, because we don't know if you are the person who owned the car, and we don't know if you are the person who stole the car. Now, I was like, okay, fair enough. And I don't have the papers for my car in my name yet because I bought the car recently and I haven't yet got the papers in my name. I requested the papers in my name and they're actually on my phone in my messages. And I could not get my phone because they wanted it as papers in the dash. And I was not able to drive the car either way because there's a hold on the plate and it says it's stolen. They can't prove whether I stole it or someone else stole it. So I had to do a night in jail. So I'm going to jail and shit. And I'm in this holding cell for like 14 hours. There's about 30 other people in there. I'm just chilling. Now, I'm chatting to people here and there, but keeping my head low. I don't really speak to too many people, and I'm not telling them what I'm about, and they're not really telling me what they're about. Some of them, they can't help themselves. They love speaking about absolutely everything, but I just kept things kind of low. And then after about 16 hours, they then give me some sort of wristband. That's the mugshot wristband that you've seen on my Instagram, which got posted. So the mugshot photo, right? I'll put it up on the screen. Then after that, they actually transferred me to the actual jail. So there's about 50 people in one room. It's Jefferson County Jail. And there's like 3 phone boxes on the wall, and there's just a screen, and there's nothing to do. No phone, no food, I didn't even have a Bible or no book, nothing to read, nothing to do. And I didn't have any money on the account to even buy food. So I was eating the prison's food only because I couldn't put money on. I don't have my Apple Pay, I don't have my card, I don't have any cash on me at the time of being arrested because I only use cards. They're like, oh, you can put money from the arrest onto the thing. I'm like, no, bitch, I'm not a drug dealer. I don't have any cash on me. You know, I've got Apple Pay, that's it. And that's why I was basically starving for about a day. And then I slept in a single bed. It's like a metal bed, whatever. And they're bringing the prison food, whatever. It's like fucking cornbread, beans, and some rubbery eggs. I swear, scrambled egg, it was like rubber. It was literally rubber. You can hang it up like this and it's like some floppy, disgusting, honestly. Probably lost about 5 kg of weight. So you can see like I'm not where I'm meant to be at the moment. I've lost a lot of weight just being in there for 3 days. I was basically told, they said that my ass was going to get released in like the next 6 hours after doing a day. Then I also had a court hearing saying that I had bond for 12.5k. I was like, cool, I'm going to pay the bond, 12.5, I don't give a rat's ass, release me now, right? They then tell me that I'm going to get released in the next 2 to 5 hours. I was like, cool, for the sake of 12k, I'll sit out for 2 hours and I'll save the 12k. Long story short, 2 to 5 hours go by and they still haven't released me. So I'm starting to shit myself and I'm like, for fuck's sake, I had the opportunity to pay the bail and now I'm stuck in this room again. I can't call anyone because I got no one's number, no one's email, so I can't contact anyone. And I'm like, shit, I just want to pay the bail now. I'm paying this 12.5, I'm out. And then I can't call anyone. I tell the prison guard, I'm like, let me pay this bail. They say, you need to call the bail bond. And I call the bail bond, I keep calling and calling. They're saying, sorry, we can't help you, we need the cash. And I was like, how am I going to get this cash? Because the only way I can get it is from my friends. I don't have their number or email. So I'm literally just sat there. I'm like, shit, how am I going to get out of this place? And it ends up being is that I can't contact anyone. My friends are coming in to speak to the prison staff 24/7. It's not like they just left me there, you know, but they're coming in all the time and they don't realize that I'm trying to pay the bond and I can't contact anyone. So I actually end up sitting there for 3 days and then eventually just get released off accusation. Crazy shit. So that's that to the side. I know that was quite a long story, but I had to get that one out as a lot of you guys are asking that one question. Now, getting into the first official question, how do you confirm an A+ setup with precision before entering a trade? So actually an A+ setup evolves around the point of determining your bias at the New York Open. Once you have your bias, it's either going to be bullish, bearish, or neutral. You want to take your bias and look for a sweeper liquidity that pairs with the bias. If you have a bullish bias, you want to see a sweeper sell side paired with that bullish bias. And then after that, you want to make sure it's inside of macro. So 9:45 a.m. to 10:15 a.m. New York time is the first day of macro. Then you have the second day of macro, 10:45 a.m. 11:45 a.m. is the third macro, which is the start of the lunch macro. So entering inside of those 3 macros, after the sweeper liquidity with your bullish bias, you want to see a shift in market structure, a fair value gap on both NQ and ES, because the assets we trade is NASDAQ futures and S&P E-mini futures. And that's the 2 assets that I monitor closely for differences, such as do we have a fair value gap on both at time of entry, a displacement on both at time of entry, and is there potentially an SMT between the 2 assets? And are they appearing correlated? When I say correlated, are they moving in a similar fashion? Obviously differences such as an SMT can play as a confluence with the trade, but are NQ and ES moving correlated? Where NQ, if moving higher, ES is also moving higher as well. You're not having NQ move higher and then ES is dropping towards, say, London lows. Along with the fair value gap on both NQ and ES, you also want to see either a mitigation or a breaker block paired with one of the fair value gaps on either NQ or ES. It doesn't have to be paired with the fair value gap at point of entry, such as a first presented gap. However, just amongst the displacement, lower or higher, depending if you're looking for longs or shorts, you want to make sure that you do have a breaker or mitigation paired with at least one of those gaps. It doesn't have to be on both though, not NQ and ES, just either NQ or ES. And then a valid stop placement, no greater than a 30 handle stop on NQ, and also entry inside a macro as we already discussed. The final rule to deter whether it's the difference between B+ or A+, when you are taking the trade, if you're taking a long or a short, you want to make sure that you're not going against the 5 and 15 minute draw. So if you're taking a short, you want to make sure that you're not trading into a 5 or 15 minute bullish gap going against the trade. And also, if you're taking a long, you want to make sure that you're not trading into a 5 or 15 minute bearish gap going against the trade. If you are, then this is going to result in the trade being B+. You can still take the trade, it's 100% valid, it just means that it's going to be B+ instead of A+. So hopefully that answers your question. And now let's get into the next one. What is the difference and how do you apply fair value gaps and I fair value gaps? So I fair value gaps and fair value gaps, obviously an I fair value gap is when a normal basic fair value gap gets inversed. Now, applying this on the 4-hour time frame is very, very crucial because at 10 a.m. each day, you get obviously a new 4-hour candle and a new hourly, new 15, etc. So it's very important at 10 a.m. each day, you check the 4-hour time frame and the hourly time frame to see has your bias changed, because we base our bias purely off imbalances. Now, if for example, you determine your bias at the start of the AM session as bullish so price is trading out of the 4-hour bullish fair value gap and you understand the draw is higher. Now, if you come to 10 a.m. and the 4 hours closed and inverse the 4-hour bullish gap, then if you're not already in a 4-hour bullish gap already from below that, then the inverse is then going to be a draw lower towards the next 4-hour bullish gap or low on that time frame. So that can massively change your current bias for price. That's why at 10 a.m. it's very important to check the 4-hour and the hourly time frame, as your bias can massively shift from candle closures and inversing fair value gaps. I don't actually base trades off I fair value gaps. I base all of my trades and entries off an actual valid fair value gap, not an inverse. But an inverse on the lower time frame can be taken as a confluence and a potential bias, as the draw after inversing the gap is going to be to the next high or fair value gap. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If some things that I say inside of this video don't really make sense, feel free to comment in the comment section below anything on the top of your mind, or also what you'd like to see in future videos as well. Do you ever trade without a sweeper liquidity, or is that non-negotiable? So a sweeper liquidity is absolutely essential for the model that I trade, and I must see a sweeper liquidity, whether it's on the lower time frame or the higher time frame. Now, there's different types of liquidity sweeps. You can have a sweeper liquidity in a premium or a discount. And if you are looking for longs and you're in the premium, but then you see a sweep of an internal low, but your bias still remains bullish, then you can still take that trade. And if you are in a major discount and price takes out an internal range high / lower time frame liquidity, but you still have a bearish bias and understand the draw is still lower to say previous day low Asia, London lows, etc., then you can still take the trade. Don't get me wrong, just because you're in a premium does not mean that you can still look for longs. You shouldn't always be looking for shorts just because you're in a premium. You need to work out your bias and then understand the sweeper liquidity that has occurred. Now, a sweeper liquidity for the model that I trade is definitely essential. Now, if you trade the unicorn model without a sweeper liquidity and price in a premium, what that actually is the continuation model. So if you have a bullish bias, but price doesn't really actually take a major point of liquidity in order to actually progress higher again, but you still understand the draw is higher and the price offers you on the 1 minute time frame an opportunity for longs to then obviously target price in more of a deeper premium, that's actually an obvious example of the continuation model. Not a model that I personally trade. I trade the unicorn model from majority of the time from discount to premium and premium to discount, including a major sweeper liquidity, which is essential on my checklist. How important are breaker blocks versus mitigation blocks in your entries? So breaker blocks, mitigation blocks are absolutely essential for the trade, and I base each trade off a checklist, so nothing changes from day to day. It doesn't matter if price is it doesn't matter if price is skyrocketing all-time highs or we're in a deep recession, or if price is mid-range between the two. My approach to price at the AM session each day is always going to be the exact same. I start by determining my bias and then I work through the checklist until I actually see that I've ticked everything off, and then I have the model and I execute it. I don't hesitate on execution. If the model's there and I've ticked it off, cool. I follow my bias, I have a sweeper liquidity, and I follow the rest of my checklist, boom, I'm in. Disregarding the result, I only care about the thought process. I could take 3 losses in a row and still be very, very happy as long as my thought process is correct. As soon as the thought process goes out of the window, even if I have winning trades, I make $100,000, $200,000, I do not care at all. Thought process is number one always, because if you don't have that in place, you're simply gambling and you don't have a profitable, proven strategy in place, because that's gone out of the window now. It's very important that you as a trader does not pay attention to the dollar amount, does not pay attention to the losses that have occurred that day, that week, that month. It's very important that you stick to only the model and the process to you entering each trade, and the dollar amount will follow, because you've already learnt the knowledge, you know exactly what you're doing. Now you need to make sure that you are doing the right thing, and if you're doing the right thing, the dollar will follow. You will get paid out, you will scale your accounts, and with time you will see massive progress. You need to treat trading as more of a longer game, a longer time horizon. Too many of you are approaching this and saying, look, in a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, this is when I'm getting paid. This is when I'm passing my account. No, you just need to start and you need to trade, and you need to take the right trades. And then with time, you will get funded. With time, that funded account will get paid out. With time, that account will scale up. You can trade it with more contracts, but not now. You're not going to have it tomorrow. You're not going to have it next week. But with time, you will have exactly what you desire and exactly what you want. If you learn the knowledge, you are going to have it. And I'm not even trying to motivate you guys. I'm just trying to show you guys the absolute black and white of trading any concepts. It doesn't matter what concepts you're trading. This is very black and white. You're either making the right decisions to entering a trade or you're not. And you're either profitable or you're not. So there's no in between. Don't mess this up. Stick to one model, stop bouncing, and lock in. How do you know when liquidity has actually been taken versus faked? So liquidity is swept at highs and lows. It doesn't matter what high and low it is, that's always going to be liquidity, whether it's on the 1 minute or the daily. Now, points of liquidity that I like to mark out, such as London highs and lows, Asia highs and lows, previous day high, previous day low. You also have sets of data highs and data lows. So if 10 a.m. news comes out and then creates obviously a 1 minute candle high and a 1 minute candle low, that in itself is going to be data highs and data lows, both a major draw for price to take out. And then anything outside of that realm there, that's just going to be points of buy side and sell side. All of it is buy side and sell side. But if you mark it as London, obviously that's going to be more of a major draw for price to actually take out or actually draw to for your trade. The reason why a sweep of liquidity would be faked if it actually isn't paired with your bias. So if you take London highs, just because we sweep London highs does not mean that price is going to draw all the way back down to a discount. Price can still very easily take London highs and continue because the draw is higher. You need to understand the draw on liquidity, then look for a sweep of liquidity. Do not look for a sweep of liquidity and then understand the draw. You need to understand the draw, mark out your key levels at 9:30 a.m, determine your bias at 9:40 a.m. because by the time you determine your bias at 9:30 a.m. and then it comes to 9:40, your bias has shifted, it's changed. It's not the same anymore. Too many people, they determine their bias at like 8:30 a.m. New York time. It comes to the open at 9:30 a.m. and then they're still following the same bullish bias, the same bearish bias, saying, yeah, I'm bullish today, I'm bullish. No, price has already moved up 300 points. We've taken out London highs, Asia highs, previous day high, data highs. We've taken all of their levels. Price is no longer bullish. So you need to understand when you determine a bias, you are bullish until a certain point. You are bearish until a certain point. Is it going to be this minor sell side? Is it going to be London lows? Once we take London lows, the hourly, the 4 hour, the daily, I understand it's going to shift to bullish and it's no longer bearish. So your bias is going to shift massively. And because the New York Open tends to be quite volatile, you have that inject in volatility. You see it every day. Price will either spike up, spike down, or sometimes it doesn't really spike at all. But usually there is that inject of volatility. Price likes to move quite drastically and sometimes potentially have a Judas swing. What is a Judas swing? Well, price would go straight for buy side or straight for sell side at the New York Open, take it, and then return back to the New York Open price. That would be an example of manipulation at the New York Open. Assuming there was accumulation before the New York Open, that would be accumulation, Judas swing, manipulation, distribution for the first day in macro. You can potentially look to follow on the rest of the Power of Three. If you guys are not aware of Power of Three, feel free to watch other videos on YouTube. You don't always have to learn from myself, but I have done many videos on Power of Three as well, which you'll locate on other videos on this channel. If this is the first time you actually see my face, make sure you're subscribed to this channel because you probably won't see me again. How many times does price need to tap into a fair value gap to know that it's actually valid for an entry? Well, that's actually a silly question. Look, if price gives an entry, you're in. You don't wait to see if it gets respected, because how do you know to wait to see if it gets respected? If price comes up for an entry, that is your entry, you're in, boom. Super sharp, razor sharp entries, bang. You should be finger on the mouse, you should be like a bullet. I market order all of my entries, I don't limit order because there's gonna be times that I actually change my decisions. I don't wanna go through all of my accounts on both of my screens and start canceling limit orders and accidentally get filled. I market order when the time is right. Now, if I have the entry off the fair value gap and price comes up to the gap, boom, I'm in. I don't wait to see if it gets respected. Try do that in March or April of the most volatile months of the year. Price will come to the fair value gap, it will tap it, and you'll be waiting to see if it gets respected, and then it will go. And it would already be down 30 points, and you'll be like, oh, I was just waiting for a better entry. You don't get a better entry. You got to stop trying to perfect yourself. This is why you're missing trades. This is why you're fucking up. Price gives you an entry, that's it, you're in. You have your stop placement above anything that sends price in favor of your trade. Breaker blocks, order blocks, fair value gaps. That's why your stop placement is above. It does not have to be at the swing high. It doesn't have to be above the swing high. It just has to be in a position which is valid. It has to be in a position which is valid. Now, once you have your entry, that's it. You set your stop, you set your TP at a 2-to-1 risk to reward. You don't take partials and you don't aim for a 5-to-1 risk to reward. There's no reason why you should be aiming for a 5-to-1, a 10-to-1 risk to reward. You need to have a set risk to reward with a set win rate, which does vary month to month, but year to year, it relatively stays the same. And aiming for a 2-to-1 is far better than taking partials, because when you take partials, you're gonna actually be taking 50% off around a 1-to-1. And if it does come back to break even and take you out, then you've only secured a 0.5-to-1 risk to reward. If you lose the next trade, you're actually down massively already. So taking partials is an illusion to you thinking you made money with a higher win rate, but actually making little to no money as profitability wise. Now, 2-to-1 is that obviously you can lose 2 trades, make 1, and you're break even. And it's very important that your position size and the amount of micros or contracts that you trade actually varies in between stop placement. If you risk 30 points on NQ on one trade, you don't want to take that with the same position size as obviously risking 15 handles, because you'll be risking obviously 2 times more if you was to take something with 8 micros with 30 point stop, and if you had a 15 point stop with 8 micros, that's going to be half the dollar amount risk on the 15 than it is on 30. Simple maths. So make sure that your position size changes as your stop placement changes as well. So have a risk management plan written down on paper, which you can look at and say, this is 20 handles, this is how many contracts, boom, in, and you're in on all of your accounts. I don't need to, because I already know. I've done this process about 1,000 times, and I know how many contracts I should be entering in regards to handle stop placement on each one of my accounts. What is the best prop firm in 2025 for ICT traders? If you are new to the prop firm space and you're not already max allocated like myself, I recommend you start with topstep.com. Go to Topstep, get a 50k account. Don't go for 150k accounts. Don't go for 300k accounts. Start with the 50s. The reason why I say that is because they are the best accounts in the game. You can get a 50k account, it's quicker to pass, cheaper to purchase, and faster to pay out. I'm not trying to promote prop firms at all. I'm not affiliated with any prop firms, any brands at all. I don't support any brands apart from the one that I run myself. I recently launched a new clothing line, which is called Coat London. And this is going to be released to the public very shortly. As of now, the hats are the ones that we have in stock, and they are going to be dropping soon. Everything you like, I have. Now, this is a hat which makes me money. When I wear it, obviously, this is going to make me money when I trade, because everything you like, I have. And that's very essential for mindset. And to understand, people obviously are going to want what you got when you're doing well in life. This is why you wear this hat. If you're a sick cunt, if you're an absolute boss, you're going to want this hat. And I'm not even trying to promote the hat like that. I think this hat's fucking sick. So that's why I've created a clothing line. I'm sick of going to the mall and finding clothes which are priced at say $5,000, $10,000, and they're shit. They don't even fit me right. So I'm like, look, you know what? I'm gonna make my own clothes. I'm done with these LV, Amiri, all these brands. So I made my own clothing line. I'm actually making 2 clothing lines, one designer, which is actually gonna be an affordable price, no crazy prices like 2K, 3K. It's gonna be affordable for actual normal people. I'm a normal person myself. I'm no crazy guy, I'm no better, and no worse. Everyone is equal. There's no difference between me and you behind the camera at all. No difference. Now, this is why I believe that designer clothing should be affordable to everyone. So I'm making the sickest, best fitting, best looking and fashionable clothes, not skater brands, not baggy ass jeans, actual fitted, nice clothes. You see the shirts I'm wearing, they fit well, right? So we're making actual clean, professional clothes, which everyone can wear. That is going to be dropping soon as well. So if you was wondering what that is one of my own. So going back to prop firms, 100% Top Step is #1 prop firm to actually go with in the space. They will pay you out after 5 profitable days once you're funded. And then you can take that 50K account, bring it to a $4,000 balance, take half of it, take a $2,000 payout, use that $2,000 to your advantage. Purchase 4 more accounts, get max allocation, that's 5 accounts with Top Step. Go to Take Profit Trader, Alpha Futures, and also My Funded Futures, 3 other prop firms. Max allocate yourself with those 3 prop firms as well, with that 2K. Now, you've gone from making $700 a trade on one 50K account with Top Step to about $10,000 to $12,000 a trade with those 4 prop firms, and you can sync them all together. Because Top Step is their own little thing on Top Step X, that's going to be a separate tab. And then Alpha Futures, Take Profit, and My Funded Futures, you're going to have that on either TradeAvate or Ninja Trader, and you can link that in with Trade Syncer. So you can use Trade Syncer, the website, Trade Syncer spelt with a Y, and if you go to that platform, you can group all of your accounts together and have one lead account, and that makes life so much easier. And now you're making 12K a trade. How do you make 30K a trade? Well, now you can actually scale up the drawdown on all of those accounts. So instead of actually risking 300 at the start, which you would on all of your 50K accounts on all prop firms, you then build up your drawdown. Once it's at around a 4.5 to 5K drawdown, you can now go ahead and start risking around $700 per trade. Obviously a 2-to-1 risk to reward. Every trade, you're either going to lose $700 or you're going to make $1,400. And how much you make may vary here and there. You might be taking a 2.5 risk to reward here and a 1.8 there, but it's going to average out about $1,500 per trade. So 1,500 times around 20 accounts, obviously now you're up into that range of about 25K per trade, there or thereabouts. And that's obviously a field that a lot of you want to get to. And you're probably thinking, Milo, how many wins are you getting per week? Well, on average, over the course of 2024, I actually worked out that I average about 1 win per week. I don't average 3 wins, 4 wins per week. I'm not going to tell you no crazy fake statistics. I'm very real with you guys. I'm honest. I take losing trades, I take winning trades, and I obviously make more than I lose. I've had losing streaks where I've lost 5 trades in a row. I've had winning streaks where I've won 16 trades in a row. That was actually last year in April. I won 16 trades in a row. And that was live in front of an audience. You can double check that with people that have been following me for a very long time. If you don't even believe those statistics, obviously some people won't, because that's obviously social media. But long story short, obviously making 30K a trade, and you'll be averaging about $30,000 a week. There is points there you can actually scale up even further, and then you can scale up into a live account using TradeAvate or a different broker if you choose to do so, and then you can start scaling up that account as well and make an extra 10, 20, 50, 100K per trade, and that's all with time. So this is a time game. You start as an apprentice and you turn into a boss, and you turn into a boss with time. You don't turn into a boss overnight. You have to build up to that. Everyone learns and acquires the boss knowledge, but they can't do the time to turn into the person they want to be. This is why so many people fail, and they gamble, and they go through the gambler's cycle of getting funded and then saying, I want the payout now, and then going back to eval, back to funded, back to eval, back to funded, back to eval. But months and months and months go by, and they're still in the same position. Pisses me off. How do you pass a funded account using the unicorn model? Well, you can pass a funded account relatively easily. Just obviously trade the model correctly, as I've broke down many times on this channel. Feel free to watch any of my videos breaking down the model itself. It is very, very simple if you actually put it in terms of understanding the model and getting things down. Once you have everything down and you understand how to execute in live price action, because it can be a little bit overwhelming for people who are new, but with time things do become a lot easier. I mean, if you are a builder and you're new on the site, people will take the piss to start, but when you start laying tiles, doing roofs, fixing AC units, you can do that shit with your eyes closed. eventually. And that's how it is with trading this model. I get on about 8:25 a.m. in the morning because market opens for 8:30 a.m. for me. So I get there 5 minutes before the open and I mark out the key levels. I wait for the macro. I determine my bias at 8:40 a.m., which is 9:40 a.m. New York time. And then that's 5 minutes prior to the macro. I look to see, is there any opportunities? If there is, I take it. If not, no worries. I sat through many sessions and never taken any trades. Whole day, whole weeks have gone by where I've not taken any trades at all. If there's no model, there is no trade. There's no need to force anything. And I've learned that with time, and I'm trying to get this through the camera to you guys as well, so you can understand the struggles and also the lessons that I've learned, and I'm trying to transfer my knowledge so you don't have to make the same lesson and make the same mistakes as what I've already done for you guys. So I'm trying to make your life a little bit easier if you actually listen to the words that I'm saying. Can someone go full-time? I'm only from the UK, just trading funded accounts. Of course you can. What type of question is that? Of course you can quit your job. You're making what, £2,000, £3,000 a month? Okay, maybe you're a big earner. He's making 10,000 a month. Holy shit. We got a builder in the house. He's making 10K a month from his job. Look, honestly, you can make 10K a trade very easily. You need the knowledge first, and I'm not trying to sugarcoat it. I'm not trying to make it sound like it's so attainable and so easy. Because yeah, anyone would do it, right? Anyone would do it, but they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, and they say, bro, if you learn that and you get that right, just put me on it. Can you help me with that? No, they don't want to put in the work. So when they ask you and they see you making money, block them. Don't text them again, block them. Once you start making money from the business and the knowledge that you've learned yourself, and people start leeching in and asking questions, because trust me, it will happen, and they're gonna be like, Milo, come on man, help me. I used to be your friend for a very long time. Can you just help me? I see you absolutely killing it with life, man. Can you just help me? Block them. Don't chat to them again. But going back to your question, you can very easily acquire this, right? I would not quit your job now. Don't just quit your job and then say, I'm going all in trading, because that's really not going to work, because you're going to have so much pressure, so much stress, and so much alone time of thoughts going through your head, because your room's so quiet, you're sat there, you're looking at the charts like this, and you're really, going to be deep in your thoughts, and that's going to end up blowing account after account after account, and you're really going to get in that streak of just absolutely losing it. So what I recommend you do, I say that you drop your shifts down. You either switch over to doing night shifts, so you can trade during the UK time zone of 2:30 p.m. open New York time. So free up that time so you can actually trade. Also work. Have that kind of routine where you're trading, you're going to work, or you're working and you can trade at work, right? So do not quit your job. You still need that income so you can actually have a peace of mind that you're trading on the side. You're developing your knowledge, you're testing the model, you're trading the model, you're back testing when you have time, on the weekends, whenever you get time. You're not going down the pub with Lacey, you're actually sat there in your room back testing. You're getting confident with the model. Now, once you're confident with the model, then cool. Then go to live price section and actually apply. If Lacey calls you up to go down the pub, tell her to fuck off and block her too, because you need to lock in on your life and actually make some money and make something of yourself. There's people out there making numbers that you cannot imagine. So it's about time you done it for yourself as well. Do you think prop firms are sustainable, or do you think it's a short-term come up? I think prop firms have been around for a very long time. And it's not even I know. I've seen that Top Step has been around since around 2012, 2014. They're still around in 2025, and I don't really see them going anywhere anytime soon. So as long as I'm still trading with prop firms, the day when it becomes over, then it'll be over. But we're not going to try predict the day when the moon's going to blow up or the sun's going to blow up. As of now, all I know is that prop firms are still about. We're still making money from them, so we're going to continue to do so. There's no trying to be scared or be scarce about this business, because anyone can always trade a live account, and if the stock market was to go away and then completely disappear out of thin air, then so would the whole US economy. So nothing is going anywhere. If you know how to trade and you know how to trade this model, then that's all that you need in order to be profitable and actually make a living and make money out of this market. Have you ever gotten a payout denied from a prop firm? Of course, I've had many payouts denied from many different prop firms, but the most historical and famous denied payout that I've ever received was the one from Apex for $220,000. They did not pay me out that 220K, and they removed my accounts from Apex, and I lost those accounts. That was the payout that did not get approved and did not get paid out, and they removed me from the prop firm. So I lost all of my funded accounts. I had them for over a year and a half, and I've been paid out over 23 times with Apex, and then they decided to completely remove my accounts from the space because I didn't provide strategy proof of the trades and reasoning behind the trades that I taken within a 24-hour period on email. Crazy shit, but that's what happens. And sometimes it's gonna be ups and downs when you're running your own business. And I treat trading as a business. I don't treat it as a gamble. I don't treat it as a job. I treat it as a business that I run. I turn up each day, I do my job, I do my task, and I complete it. And the money comes in each month and I get paid out. Simple as that. What's your strategy to stay under the daily drawdown and actually take good trades? Well, to stay under the daily drawdown and actually be careful about that is obviously very strictly down to risk management. So when it comes to funded accounts, you want to make sure that you're not risking too much per trade. On a 50K account, I advise when you're funded, risking $300 per trade. So if you're trading with, say, a 30 handle stop placement, you want to make sure that you're actually risking using 5 micros, which is going to result 5 micros times by 30 handle stop is going to be a $300 risk. And depending on your stop placement, you want your position size to vary and the amount of micros that you trade is going to vary. But you want to risk $300 per trade. And if you ever drop below $1,500 on your 50K account, you're actually going to go down to half position size, which means you're risking $150 per trade. So $1,500 divided by $150 equals 10 trades. If you take 10 losses consecutively, back to back, then your account is blown. And now if you do that, I want you to come back to this comment section on this video and say, Milo, I'm a dickhead. And if I see loads of those comments, then I know we've got some serious cookery and I'm gonna have to drop an absolute banger, full breakdown, full silver bullet, full unicorn model breakdown, because there's some serious underlying issues with the content I've put out in the past. Because there's no way that people are taking 10 losses in a row. I refuse to believe it. So risk management is the number one essential thing that you must have down on your account in order to be fine with daily drawdown, trailing drawdown, doesn't matter what drawdown it is, you should be fine. If you have the correct risk management, you're always going to be okay. How do you manage emotions after back-to-back losses? Well, as I've already stated inside of this video, back-to-back losses are going to happen. I'm going to guarantee it to you guys. I'm going to hand it to you through this video. You are going to take losses. You're going to take 2 losses, 3 losses, 4, 5 in a row. It's going to happen at some point. If you roll the dice enough times, eventually you're going to take a 6 5 times in a row. You'll roll 6 sixes in a row. Eventually you will do that. If you roll the dice enough times, eventually you'll do it. This is all a probability game. So when the time comes that you take losses in a row, or the time comes that you take wins in a row, you don't want to get too excited and you don't want to get too depressed. The only thing that you need to focus on every single day is that you are sticking to the model. You're taking the right thought process to the trade. You're not caring or giving a flying fuck or a flying rat's ass about the actual thought process to take in the trade. So we're going a little bit off topic here, but someone's also obviously asked the question, why have I moved from Miami to Houston? What is the kind of reason behind leaving Miami? I've actually left for good, guys. I own 2 apartments in Miami. I'm looking to get into property in Texas and Dubai. So I seen no other better decision in order to actually leave Miami, leave all of the flexing gurus and the people filming, and every single day I go out for a meal. I hopped out the car the other day. Bro, can I interview you, bro? Bro, what do you do for a living, bro? No, bro. Fuck off, yeah? I don't care. I don't have time for you. I'm here to come for a meal with my friends. We've worked hard today. We've done a lot of business chats. We've chat a lot of, different topics or whatever, but I don't have time for your ass, right? I'm busy, don't chat to me. Every single day in Miami, you're gonna have those issues. If you're driving a nice car, you're wearing a nice suit, I was doing both, and they was chatting to me every single day. It's not only that, I don't like the overall environment. As of now, Miami is also in hurricane season because it's in July, but I'm not really the biggest fan of Miami in general anymore. Everyone you speak to there speaks Spanish. They don't even speak English. And also, the overall vibe is just not for me. The prices of real estate is absolutely through the roof, and what you can get in Houston and what you can get in Texas is growing a lot faster and a lot better than places in Florida. Real estate in Florida is affected, obviously, by potential hurricane issues where houses can literally go wiped out. So housing insurance is absolutely through the roof, which people don't really think about when they buy a house, but stuff like that is absolutely through the roof and doesn't really make sense. And it makes sense to buy, say, in Texas, where the actual economy is booming a lot more than, say, Florida. So I'm looking to purchase 1 to 2 houses in Houston, and then Houston or Austin or Dallas. Austin is, everyone's saying, absolutely booming, but I'm actually more looking at Houston. And then once I've acquired a house in Houston, then I'm also going to be purchasing apartments after apartments after apartments in Dubai. Dubai is outstandingly amazing to purchase apartments in. The actual area that you buy in, if you buy in Dubai Marina or you buy in JVC, this is actually going to give you around a 15% return just off appreciation on your apartment without rental income. Rental income is an added bonus which will pay the mortgage that you put down in Dubai. So yeah, Houston, for me personally, is definitely one of the best places to live. The time zone, 8:30 open, it gives me an extra hour of my day, because instead of trading at 9:30 open, I like to get up a bit earlier and trade at 8:30 a.m. Get that out of the way, one and done. And then also the weather here is around 35 degrees Celsius, which is probably around 100 degrees or 110 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who do Fahrenheit, which is a little retarded. And I do like the sun myself. Obviously right now I'm pale as shit because obviously I've been a little bit busy, but I am going to catch a pretty solid tan over the next couple weeks. So also another thing about Houston that I very much like, they have one of the best gyms in the US. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the Trend Twins, but they've actually just moved to Texas as well. I believe so, Houston. Don't really know, but maybe I'll bump into them. The best gym in the US is called Alpha Land Gym, and I'm actually starting on trading there. Number 3 or number 4 or 5, whatever we're on now, about why I don't like Miami is also that I can't have an actual house in a very good location in Miami because everything in Miami is apartments. It's apartments after apartments, and I'm sick of apartments. I play my music, the people next door, they're going to be complaining. I have to, every time I order food, because I'm ordering about 5 to 6, 10 meals a day, I'm spending £400 or £500 a day on food, ordering it to the house, and every time I order it, I have to go down the elevator, and then there's some dickhead in there, and then I have to go back up the elevator, and then that's about 15-minute process, or say 5-minute process, every time I get food. If I do that 6 times a day, I'm doing about half an hour to 45 minutes a day just in the elevator going up and down to get my food. So you see what I'm saying? And also, when I go to get in my car, I have to go back down the elevator, go to the car park, get in my car, drive off. That is so long. Or even collecting packages. Everything is just so jarring being in an apartment. So now I'm in a house. And obviously, a house in Houston is very attainable. You can pay around $7,000, $8,000, $10,000 a month and get an absolute crazy place. So obviously that's what I've done myself. Would you ever move back to the UK full time? Well, I mean, if I have a death sentence, then yes. You know, if I was looking to get myself stabbed in Croydon or stabbed in London and robbed for my belongings, then yeah, I mean, why not? Let's do it. If I want bad weather and miserable people around me, then yeah, I'll come back to the UK. UK, absolutely finished. I wouldn't move back to the UK. I do not want to become a tax resident there ever again. HMRC, I had to pay them around £160,000 in tax just for 1 year of actually the first year that I started making money trading. I paid 160k tax in pounds, which is around $220k dollars, and I had to pay that just one time because I ended up registering and becoming not a tax resident in the UK, and I registered in a tax-free haven place, which is called Nevis in the Caribbean. So I have offshore accounts there and I don't pay any tax at all. But in my opinion, the UK, it's absolutely cooked and I would never ever want to live there again. That's just in my opinion. Now, someone else asked, is it better to live in the US or is it better to live in Dubai? Well, that's all down to personal preference. Benefits of trading in Dubai, you are trading around 5:30 p.m. in the evening, so I quite like it. If you want to sleep in because you had a pretty crazy night, then yes, you can sleep in, and obviously you can do your whole day. You can go to the gym, you can eat, you can bowl, you can do whatever, and then you trade in the evenings. I do quite like that. Now that's one thing I do like. One thing I don't like is that the city does feel quite all put together like a Lego city and everything feels quite fake. Now that's the only thing that I did not like about Dubai. And the only other thing I didn't really like about Dubai is that there's too many laws. I'm not saying I'm a criminal. I'm not saying because I got arrested the other day, but I do like to speed. And I tell you what, I speed like an absolute crazy cunt. And when I speed, I go about 200 miles an hour, 195 cruising on cruise control. This is one thing that I can't stop doing, and I'm never going to stop doing until I die. I do it on bikes, I do it on cars, and I'm making on camera that's pretty much it. Obviously, we like to record a lot of things as well. Recording in Dubai, if you do end up recording someone, they can actually report it to the police and you can end up in jail. So there's laws in Dubai which are pretty crazy, and they did not even let me record certain things, which kind of pisses me off. So the amount of rules there kind of doesn't really lay and sit well with me, to be honest. So I much prefer living in the US myself, and time zone, I like trading in the morning, to be honest. Trading in the evening, yeah, it is good, but it's good to get it out of the way in the morning. But don't get me wrong, Dubai is an absolutely lovely place to go. It definitely is a tax-free haven, but you will be paying 8% tax, so don't fall for the illusion of paying 0% tax. There's a tax rate of 8%, which you pay after you earn over a profit of around 90 to 100,000 pounds. Once you're over that, you pay an 8% tax on profit over that amount. So the first 90,000 pounds is tax-free, and then over is going to be taxed at 8%. And of course, you're going to be making more than 90k. What the fuck is 90k? Is American food really that bad, or people overreacting? I mean, it depends what you're eating. If you're eating McDonald's, which I do sometimes, you know, I get a sneaky, cheeky little McDonald's here and there. It's made out of plastic, yeah. So you probably will die in a few months if you eat that every day. Now, if you eat, say, from Whole Foods or Publix, this is a known supermarket in the US which do organic green foods, which is healthy for you. I shop at places like that, right? That's where my foods get purchased. And I also am on meal plans. So I order meal plans, which are pre-made meals, to my house. Now, these pre-made meals, I just put them in the oven, or I put them in a pan, and then they're done. And I eat them, and that's it. I don't cook. I don't do none of that shit. I've tried cooking before. When I first started trading and I first got my first few payouts and I left my parents' house, I tried cooking, and trust me, it does not work. I have flies, I have maggots, I have new creatures that have not even entered the planet before in my kitchen, and they are crawling everywhere. I do not do that cooking shit. I ended up hiring a chef, and in many parts of the world that I've been in, I've always used a chef, and now I've come to the point where the chef makes me the breakfast in the morning. He comes in the morning, makes the breakfast. Once the breakfast stuff is done, so I like to have absolutely wham huge breakfast of about 1.5k calories in the morning. I like it to vary, otherwise it gets repetitive. And then I hop on the meal plans for the rest of the day. That's what I do as far as food wise, because a chef in the morning and then meal plans through the day. That cooking shit is unsustainable. Washing pans, I'm not a female. Don't have time for washing, don't have time for cleaning. That shit is something that none of you guys should be doing. And I'm going to wrap up the Q&A here. I hope you guys have somewhat enjoyed this Q&A. If you stuck to the end, honestly, drop a like on this video because it was an absolute banger. It was definitely a story that had to be told. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And guys, for future videos on this channel, make sure to drop a comment on this video, whether you enjoyed this video or you have suggestions or you want to see something in future videos which you're not really too confident on. Make sure to drop it in the comment section below. And I will also ensure that I try my best to reply to as many comments as possible. I read all of your comments and I'm going to make sure I reply to as many as possible. And until the next one, have a great rest of your day.